Yo, what's up YouTube? What's going on today? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going over Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 7. Yo, reading this chapter, I'm surprised on what this chapter had, alright? I was expecting more of a fight between Boruto and Mitsuki, but this was not my expectation. I was expecting Mitsuki to actually lose rather than Boruto giving up on him. But it does make sense because Boruto is trying to clear his name and he's trying to reclaim the friends that he has lost. So that fight was pretty in my opinion. Now, before we get into this chapter, I just gotta say thanks everybody for the 7k subs. We hit 7k with the last video. Now obviously you have all seen, you guys know I don't post as much. I just like to make videos for fun, you know? But anyways, let's get down to this chapter, alright? So starting off the chapter, we have a flashback of Mitsuki, and Mitsuki is thinking back to the moment that he thought that Kawaki was his son. But in reality, Kawaki wasn't his son. Looking here, you see that Mitsuki is looking at Kawaki's back, but Kawaki gives Mitsuki the side eye. Kawaki does not give two shits about Mitsuki, alright? Even later in this chapter, when Kawaki wakes up, he's pissed off that Mitsuki did that to him. So it just goes to show you that Kawaki does not care about him. So then getting on, we have the fight between Boruto and Mitsuki. Bro, I just gotta say, in this beginning here, Boruto is really smart with his tactical movements. Here he throws a shuriken at Mitsuki, and one of the shurikens lands on the tree. And little does Mitsuki know, Boruto actually put the flying Raijin on that shuriken. So as soon as that shuriken hits the tree, Boruto instantly teleports to it. That is some really good fighting style of Boruto. He's basically took Minato and Sasuke's fighting style and mixed it with his own. And that's actually impressive. I like how Boruto is putting flying Raijin on every single thing he has. For all we know, most likely there is a flying Raijin on Sarada. When he hugged her, he most likely placed something on her. I'm calling that right now. Watch when Boruto teleports to her later. He probably put it on her back or something like that where she doesn't know yet. And here's the thing, he just has to touch it and implant it there and you won't notice it. Like, you see how small the shuriken is? You can't even notice that Boruto put a flying Raijin on it. Even the small hidden leaf symbol that he used to transport into Code's dimension. So this just goes to show you how skilled Boruto has gotten. Now in this fight between Boruto and Mitsuki, Boruto says, "Where is Kawaki?" Mitsuki said that he knocked Kawaki out. He doesn't want Boruto to fight Kawaki because Boruto is a monster. Boruto is a monster that made Code retreat. This type of monster cannot be allowed to fight Kawaki because Mitsuki says that Boruto is stronger than Kawaki. This just tells us that Kawaki is weaker than Boruto. He is no match for Boruto, which does make sense because if Code is stronger than Jougan with his limiters off, Jougan whooped Naruto and Sasuke's ass. We've seen that. And for Code to be stronger than him and get his ass whooped by Boruto just goes to show you that Boruto is above Naruto and Sasuke and Jougan. And he is most likely above Kawaki. Because Mitsuki even notices that Boruto is a monster compared to Kawaki. He's like, if Kawaki came here, he most likely would have gotten killed. Which does make sense because even in this fight between Boruto and Mitsuki, Mitsuki is going out at Boruto in his Sage mode and Boruto is not even doing anything. Boruto is literally playing it all off. He's not even drawing his sword yet. This is just telling us that even Mitsuki's Sage mode is nothing compared to Boruto. This also puts Boruto in a higher power scale, where if Mitsuki's Sage mode was said to be really OP by Urashiki, this tells us that Boruto is now above Mitsuki's Sage mode, and he is above Kawaki. That means Boruto is in a league of his own. He's in a completely different league than everybody. The only thing we don't know is the power level difference between Boruto and the new Shinjus, because the Shinjus were teaming up against Boruto a few chapters ago, and they were giving him a little bit of the work. Though Boruto wasn't serious at that moment, Boruto was pushed back to the point that he had to retreat. So those Shinjus are in a different power level, and most likely those Shinjus are stronger than Mitsuki and are stronger than Kawaki. So then getting back into the fight, Boruto keeps talking to Mitsuki while Mitsuki saying, "Boruto, you're just a problem, die already." Boruto says, "I may be to blame for sure, but I can't die yet. I still have a ton of things to do, which is why I don't have time to play around." At this moment is when Boruto decides to go in the offensive and he takes down all of Mitsuki's clones. By the way, these clones are in Sage mode as well. So Boruto is not even trying against Mitsuki right now. At this point, Mitsuki decides to use Snake Lightning and Boruto uses Thunderbolt, which I assume is actually Thunderclap or Thunder Arrow, but for some reason it's called Thunderbolt, which I assume is a reference to Pikachu because Pokemon did do a reference with Pikachu and Boruto. So it can make sense that Boruto is using Thunderbolt, which is a callback to Pikachu. Upon using Thunderbolt, both Mitsuki and Boruto's attacks collide, and Boruto quickly sneaks up on Mitsuki without him even noticing and puts the sword to his neck. At this moment, Mitsuki decides to turn off his Sage mode, and Mitsuki says, "Just get it over with, finish me off." Boruto says, "You think you came prepared to die when in fact it's that you've lost hope. You're feeling despair." He's basically reading everything Mitsuki is feeling because he knows that Kawaki has corrupted Mitsuki. This leaves Mitsuki surprised. He knows that something is wrong and he knows that Boruto is not attacking him. Mitsuki thought he came to kill Boruto, but in reality, Boruto is trying to help Mitsuki, where Mitsuki thought that Kawaki was his son, but but that wasn't the case. Boruto says to Mitsuki that he is his real son. And I think Mitsuki low-key feels that Boruto is, because he's seen the way Boruto's fighting. He has a feeling that Boruto isn't a traitor and Boruto isn't as grudge holding as he thinks he is. Because everybody knows that Kawaki was one who holds the grudges and Kawaki was ruthless, this and that. All of that went on to Boruto when they switched places. But now it's kicking in Mitsuki's mind that Boruto isn't really the bad guy. So now Mitsuki has that mixed feeling between Boruto and Kawaki, and he knows something is wrong with Kawaki. Mitsuki is starting to debate his memories. In this case, Mitsuki lets go of Boruto and the snake disappears. Mitsuki says, why'd you have to kill the 7th Hokage? Boruto finally reveals that the 7th Hokage is alive and safe. This shocks both Ino and Shikamaru, though most likely Ino is shocked, not Shikamaru. Shikamaru kind of had a feeling that Naruto might be alive. Now what gets me is what Boruto says here. Boruto says, my mother, but he cuts it off right there. Instead, he says, his wife too. That's all I can say right now. Boruto is not trying to give away that Hinata is his mother. So it surprises me that Boruto said that. Now this is where it gets kind of interesting. Boruto says that Naruto and Hinata are alive. So what did he want to say to Sarada last chapter? When he says, I'll come back again, he wanted to say something more to Sarada. Most likely he wasn't going to say Naruto and Hinata are alive. I think it was something more related to Sarada, which I think we're going to get in the next few chapters, because after this fighting we go on to Jura, who says he's going to meet Naruto. So that means that Jura might have access to Kawaki's dimension and that Naruto might be released earlier than we think. Because if Jura is going to go see Naruto, that means he has to access Deikokuten's dimension. If that's the case, this would mean that Jura is most likely Ishiki's clone and has Ishiki's DNA and chakra, because we did see Jura sitting on a cube that was similar to Ishiki's. But if Jura can't access Ishiki's dimension, most likely he's going to access that dimension through Kawaki. He's going to go to Kawaki and he's going to open up the portal to Deikokuten through Kawaki. Most likely Kawaki won't be a match against the new Shinjus, because Kawaki is weaker now. Now I'm not saying Kawaki is fully weak, I'm saying that Kawaki got lazy over the 3 years. Kawaki stopped training and he started relying too much on the karma. We've seen that back in the original manga when Team 7 was training. Kawaki did not want to do that. Kawaki wanted to use the karma as a bypass to gain all that power. And because Kawaki has that mentality, he most likely stopped training over the 3 years and he started relying on the karma and Ishiki's powers rather than his own. So most likely when Jura comes to attack Kawaki, Kawaki will not be able to hold up against him. And he is going to open the portal to Naruto, thus exposing Kawaki. That means Kawaki's lies are probably going to come down in the next few chapters, and most likely the Shinju fight is probably 2 to 3 chapters away. Because now look at the overall picture. Boruto has met Mitsuki, Sarada, Kawaki. He met all his friends and everything, and even met all the new Shinjus. Now the stage is complete. And now that everything has been laid out, it's time for the Shinjus to attack and for Kawaki's lies to be shown. And at this point, we're probably gonna see the new Otsusukis that might come later down the line, which I think most likely there's gonna be some sort of new Otsutsuki to come. And if the Shinjus are finished off by say chapter 12-13, we still have a good 30 chapters of a new enemy to appear, and for the village to still get destroyed. So we're gonna see how that plays out. So with all that being said, getting back into the manga, Boruto tells Mitsuki saying that you're perfectly capable of shining on your own, but if you insist on needing a son, come and find me anytime. Right here we see Mitsuki's expression change, and low-key looking at Boruto's face, Boruto has that slight smile in his face where he knows that he has fixed his name in front of his friends. He knows that Mitsuki is not hostile towards him anymore, and that Mitsuki is his friend again. Mitsuki has that calm expression as well, saying, you are what I've been looking for. Because I think Mitsuki noticed deep inside that Boruto, during this fight, was not doing anything against him. He wasn't as aggressive, anything like that, but rather he was letting Mitsuki take out his anger on him, which Mitsuki notices is what a friend would do. So this tells us that Mitsuki is going to come to Boruto's aid, and that the original Team 7 without Kawaki is going to come back in the next few chapters. We're going to have Sarada fighting alongside Boruto, and Mitsuki is going to help Boruto as well. So now that we've seen Mitsuki's power, the only person left to see is Sarada. We gotta see what power she's pumping, because Mitsuki has a Sage mode. Boruto, we haven't seen his full power yet. He most likely has a Sage mode, or maybe even some sort of Otsutsuki mode or Karma V4, something like that. We don't know yet. He most likely has another power up, and we're probably gonna see Sarada's power up too. Most likely her Mangekyo Sharingan's Susanoo or something like that. So then getting on here, we have some interesting conversation between Boruto and Shikamaru. Boruto tells Shikamaru Shikamaru that don't bother trying to figure out how the omnipotence works, you'll soon forget it anyways. It fades away over time. That's part of its power. So this tells us that everybody who's ever been affected by omnipotence has their memory changed up, and they also forget that omnipotence is an ability and it fades away over time. So what Momoshiki said back in chapter 79 is that when humanity got changed so many times, they didn't know their memories were altered, and that over time people forgot that they were affected by the omnipotence ability. He gives an example with Shikamaru. Sarada and the class rep have told you numerous times, but you haven't paid attention. It won't stick in your memory that you've been affected by omnipotence. He's like, the power of omnipotence makes you think that omnipotence does not exist. That is actually a really clever power, but it obviously makes sense because the power is of a god. That's how you know omnipotence is OP as fuck. So then Shikamaru says, how can we reverse omnipotence? Boruto says we can't. Those altered memories are real to you. And besides, even if we could, it wouldn't resolve the issues between me and Kawaki. He says that Kawaki sealed Naruto away in order to protect him, and he won't undo it unless he knows that Boruto is dead. Boruto says that he doesn't want to kill Kawaki. He's not the same as him. Rather, he wants to beat up Kawaki and then make him make up for what he did. Shikamaru says, I understand you, but he says that if you don't have any intent to kill Kawaki, then you need to understand that you'll still be falsely accused for killing Naruto, and you're gonna have to stay like that until we can figure it out. This is Shikamaru planning with Boruto. Shikamaru is telling us that he's gonna let Boruto take the blame for a bit longer, but he doesn't want to expose Kawaki yet because he knows that if he exposes Kawaki, Kawaki's gonna run back to Ida, activate omnipotence again, and is gonna rewrite everyone's memories, and thus this moment wouldn't matter. So he doesn't want to let Kawaki catch on that they're scheming against him. So this is picking up nicely, alright? We have some greasy shit about to happen. Ooh, delicioso. So then getting on to the last pages, it goes to the Shinjus. We have Jura reading books about this world, and these books are making him question life even more. Jura says that these books do not hold the answers to his question. And so because they don't hold the answers to his questions, he wants to pay Naruto a visit. So the question is, what are his questions and what answers is he looking for? I think Jura is looking for who Naruto is, because I think the books that Jura is reading are actually Jiraiya's books about Naruto, and that the person Naruto would become. He does not have the answers he wants, and thus he wants to go to the source to figure out what type of person Naruto is and why he wants to eat him. So now the real question arises, how is he going to get to Naruto? That is the $1 million question. And the way that's going to go down is he is going to go through Kawaki. Right now we know Kawaki is not as strong as he thinks he is because he's not a full Otsutsuki. He's only 80% Otsutsuki. And most likely these Shinjus are above Kawaki's power level and are somewhere closer to Boruto. Because the four of them did gang up on Boruto and they were starting to push him. Even though Boruto wasn't serious, they were giving Boruto the works. Since we do know that Kashin Koji told him to retreat because it was getting dangerous. So what does this have to do with Kawaki? Jura is gonna beat Kawaki in the upcoming chapters, and upon beating Kawaki, he is going to open the portal to where Naruto and Hinata are. We've seen that with Ishiki. When Ishiki hit Naruto down, he was able to detect Kawaki's chakra through Naruto's prosthetic arm. And in this case, Jura is connected to Kawaki through Ishiki. Then it would make sense that when Jura attacks Kawaki, he's gonna be able to manipulate Ishiki's powers in Kawaki's karma and open up the portal to Naruto, thus paying Naruto a visit. So that's what's gonna happen in the next few chapters. Most likely, I think something's gonna go down next chapter, and probably by chapter 9 to 10, we're gonna finally see Naruto and Hinata. So there you have it. This guy is coming. He is coming to whoop Kawaki's ass with a belt and eat Kawaki's ass, bro. He's gonna pull his down, eat his ass, and whoop his ass. And he's gonna go eat our boy Naruto like a piece of cake. So let's see what happens in the upcoming chapters. Stuff is getting greasy right now, alright? It's getting juicy. It's getting scrumptious. I can't wait to see what happens. We're gonna have an all-out battle in the village. We know most likely Boruto is gonna return. And on top of that, when Juro opens a portal up to Naruto, everyone's gonna see that Naruto is alive, and that is gonna clear Boruto's name, and it's gonna expose Kawaki for the fraud and lie he is. So everyone is gonna know that Kawaki was capping this whole time, and he is gonna end up being the traitor of the village. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and let's see where life takes us in the future, you know?